You are listening to Beyond the Verse, a Star Citizen podcast. A show dedicated to Cloud Imperium games, Star Citizen, and Squadron 42. Whether you fight, explore, unite, and/or trade, we bring you news, updates, interviews, reviews, and analysis. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a pour of Radagast, and join us as we go Beyond the Verse.
Launch sequence activated.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Beyond the Verse, Star Citizen podcast. I'm your host, Solus, and this is episode 99, our very last episode of being in double digits. I am super excited to give you a preview of what's coming in episode 100, but not to get ahead of ourselves. This is going to be a loaded episode 99. Late last night, actually not really, late afternoon yesterday, 4.0 or 4.1 dropped right in the middle of people coming home from work. So that was fun. I got a lot of hectic posts. I got to hurry up and get home. All the new content is out. I want to get in and see the museum. It was fun to watch the Soul Provision community kind of react to basically a midday launch. But it's out, and there is a lot to cover. So on this episode, we're going to be trying to get through the most of it, and there's no way we're going to be able to get through every single thing in an hour. But we are covering the Squadron 42 monthly report, which is actually more of a contest. We'll get into that here in a second. The roadmap update. Oh my goodness. The actual 4.1 launch, the content, the two new ships, and my reactions towards the Golem and the Geo. I'm not going to try to summarize everything that's out in 4.1, but I was able to get into it last night with my org. And really quick on that note, we had planned a bar crawl, kind of going off of the themes from Stella Fortuna and the suggested screenshot contest. But since we have the Spirit of the Soul, it's our speakeasy type, drinking channel in Discord. I incorporated all of that into Soul Provision's lore, and we have a bar crawl night that we do just for a social night. When we have every night planned out Monday through Friday, and the org is fully matured and the game is released. So basically, when my son takes over the org in about 20 years, we'll have a Thirsty Thursday. The theme for Thursday will be a social, not a care in the world. And the intent is for Thirsty Thursday to be something like a bar crawl, something fun in that sense. But we got rid of that. We actually put that on the back burner and instead had a 4.1 patch familiarization orgnite. So not a lot of structure, but we got in, we asked each other questions. Some of us went off and did some exploration, which again, I'll get into my experiences later in the podcast when it's appropriate. But we did get our feet wet. We got our hands dirty in 4.1, and I can't wait to share that with you. Teaser for next episode. So first off, a little bit of admin work on the back end here. We will not have episode 100 next week. So next week, there is no podcast. I have a work event that's taking me to Seattle, Washington. I will not be home until probably mid-Friday of next week. And obviously, it's my son's, obviously, I don't think you know this. It's my son's birthday that weekend, so I can't even make up the podcast if I wanted to. So no episode next week. Episode 100 will be in 2 Fridays. And that is so actually that's more it's more of the 10th. So it's going to be Thursday night, April 10th. We will be recording it live, and we have several guests that are going to be with us. So Space Tomato's going to be there, the Astropub's going to be there, Star Jump Grimm's going to be there, and our dear friend Conniff is going to make an appearance as well, and y'all know him from episode 1 and episode 50. So it's going to be a fun conversation, all things 4.1, all things looking back on the last, 2 years since Beyond the Verse was started. So it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to get into that with you.
Incoming message.
Okay. All right. So last episode's polls, episode 98, we asked the question, will you be picking up the Drake Golem and or the Atlas Geo when 4.1 releases? So only 12 votes this time in Spotify, and it looks like the majority of you are going to pick up both. I'm guilty of that too. I picked up both. I do have my reactions to both. And having been in both and I don't know if that's appropriate, since having more time spent thinking about the two ships, I might not go with both. I would pick one over the other, but I'll tease that for later in the episode. So 5 of you voted for both, 4 of you voted for neither, okay, and then 3 of you voted for just the Atlas Geo. None of you said just the Golem. Super interesting. To the comments section. I am more than likely not going to read every comment. There's 10 of them, but a lot of you reached out with a lot of love. You can see my screen if you wanted to look at the screen and kind of read what people wrote. But again, for those of you who do not know, maybe didn't listen to the last episode, 2 weeks ago, March 17th, my dad passed. And so, it was a hard episode to get through, and a lot of you reacted with a bunch of love. Again, you're seeing my screen. So every single one of these posts kind of start off with, I'm sorry to hear for your loss. And so again, I want to make sure I respect people's personal grievances. There's a lot of personal stories as well, like similar experiences. So I don't want to necessarily go through that with everybody. So Dakota Riley, it looks like everything is sentiment. And again, thank you so much. Warbreak 3R, again, same thing. This is grieved, but same thing, sending their condolences. Soundwave Ghost, sending condolences. Chris, thank you so much. Billy the Beast, love it. He says prayers for your loss. But then Billy the Beast does write in their comments, I hope they F the base Atlas jumping or jetpack would be nice to get higher angles for moving cargo with it. So the Geo, the Atlas Geo has the jetpack. You can jump around like an idiot like I did in my hangar for a couple of minutes, and it's a lot of fun. It really well done. But it's not available for the base Atlas. So if you're moving cargo, it would be super nice, and I'm thinking like loading the Drake Caterpillar, since the elevators don't go all the way down, like the little compartments don't go down to load cargo. It'd be really nice if you could take your base Atlas, get those packages, and then jetpack up into your Caterpillar. Like that'd be super nice. Or current state of the Carrack. Same thing with the Carrack, like the elevators on each of the cargo doors don't drop all the way down. So that'd be a good opportunity in my opinion. So I agree with Billy the Beast. Nathan Fogelman, sorry for the loss, but then also writes, I just wanted to add that I voted in the last poll, I voted for Friday. So this has to do with when people prefer or when people listen to the Beyond the Verse podcast. So you voted for Friday, and I don't speak for everyone, but do what works best for you, man. Nathan, I appreciate the sentiment. It's interesting that it looks like you wrote more, but I don't have the option to expand it. You guys are looking at my screen, right? Like, can I do more? No, I can't do more. I can react and I can reply, but there's not like a see more button. But you see how it cuts off? If Friday mornings aren't what you're feeling, then switch it up and see what benefits you, and I feel like there should be more. Cool. Sorry, Nathan, for the rest of your comment that clearly is not available right now on Spotify. Bravo 1, again, sentiment, thank you so much. Here we go. He also writes, with them making the Geo, do you think they'll make a combat mech now? To me, it sort of makes sense. Would be nice, little addition for ground operations. The Astro Pub has a very strong opinion about this, and I would love to ask him about it in 2 weeks on the 100th episode. I do think it's inevitable. I do. I'm not going to like it, though, because that'll be the new meta. Like, if you get an entire platoon of mech warriors storming Jumptown, you shouldn't, by all intents and purposes, you shouldn't have a chance. Like, there should be not a chance with a bunch of Humans running around in medium to heavy armor against mech warriors. You could argue the same, like right now in the current state, you've got a bunch of humans running around in medium armor fighting freaking spaceships that are flying around. So I guess that's somewhat fair. But I just think like having a shitload of mech warriors running around is just going to throw imbalance, in my opinion. I like having the industrial side of the Atlases, but I do think a combat mech is, it's in our future. So Garth Andrew McKenzie, so sorry for your loss, but thank you. I appreciate that. Here we go again. Anna, you write, I'm sorry to hear about your father's passing, but again, don't have the option to expand if there was anything to expand. Again, you guys are seeing this, right? So sorry. And then I've got a T. Serentopoulos, also writing serious condolences. So again, thank y'all so much for the comments. I do want to go over to the emails. Again, I don't share my screen for the emails. For this, two emails from Marshall Hungness. So Marshall Hungness, thank you so much. They write an amazing story. Just know that I read your email. I'm not going to share it with listeners. It's a very personal story of something that they were also going through in a very similar fashion. It was a blessing to read. I need you to know that. Thank you so much for taking the time to write that. Hayden Russell writes, I'm sorry to hear about your loss, but also thanks for the prize. This is Anna or Prime Entity. So thank you for writing again. I'm glad you won the last giveaway. So congratulations. Really happy for you. But we actually do have an email to get through. So David Leopard, first paragraph, again, personal, not going to get into it, but then writes, concerning the new mining vehicles and changes, I'm excited to try mining again. Fingers crossed that I don't fall through a moon. Yep. I believe the Geo will help introduce mining to more new players, especially since it will easily fit in more vehicles than the ROC or the Rock. It will really boost the earning potential of a ship like the Cutter. The crystals that you mine by hand, the Geo and Rock, are of so much higher value by weight than the elements you mine with the Prospector or Golem. That, I think, will still definitely pay to spend time mining with the ground vehicles. Plus, you don't have to take your harvest to a refinery and wait for it. I had a couple of thoughts that popped into my head about the Golem. I wonder if the Golem can transport 2 regular 16 SCU containers, or only the Drake mining bags. My other thought was that introducing the Golem sure would tie in well with releasing the Ironclad. Good org mining potential with those 2 ships working together. Thanks again for the great podcast. So number one, unfortunately, no. The Golem has bespoke containers. They are very uniquely shaped containers. You can buy them. They actually work in the freight elevators, but those are absolutely custom designed for the Golem. So you cannot, I'm 99.9% sure, I could be surprised if somebody figured out a way, but you cannot put 2 regular 16 SCU containers on the Golem. So unfortunately not. And then as far as with the Ironclad, absolutely. I think if the Ironclad is in our future for Invictus launch week, very possible, who knows? I think it will be. I think putting a Golem or a few on the Ironclad would be an amazing combination. So again, thank you to everybody who wrote in emails, who responded to the polls, who voted to the polls, and in the comment section. Again, every episode we will get into y'all's comments and feelings about what's happening in the verse and for the podcast. Okay, this week in Star Citizen. If you're hearing that I'm going kind of fast, it's because I am. There's a lot to get through, and there's a lot of videos to go through. We have a video behind the ships that came out on Tuesday that we're going to watch together, and the Inside Star Citizen, and the 4.1 preview channel, or not preview channel, but the advertisement for it. And we have the official commercials that launched with the Argo, the Atlas Geo, and the Golem. I don't know why I'm getting the Geo and the Golem mixed up. Maybe it's because it's a combination of the same letters. I don't know. Call me silly. All right, this week in Star Citizen, let's go. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Last week, we shared the latest installment of our ongoing Patch Watch series, spotlighting some exciting updates coming in Alpha 4.1. So this deserved 2 alphas. Coming in Alpha 4.1. Highlights include Corsair balancing, improved pilot firepower across multiple multi-crew ships, details about the new radar-style AI improvements, mining updates, and more. For the full breakdown, check out the Patch Watch, The Power is Mine on Spectrum, or go listen to Beyond the Verse podcast's last episode where we cover that. Back to the article. We also introduced Argo's brand new power suit built for mining gameplay in the latest episode of Behind the Ships, Meet the Atlas Geo. Meanwhile, the teams are charging ahead toward the release of Alpha 4.1, with launch imminent, which literally was yesterday. We're wrapping up the final touches while also setting our sights on 4.1.1 and beyond. As always, thank you for your continued support and feedback. So we are already preparing ourselves for 4.1.1. And I've got to figure out a different way of saying that. 4.1.1 is too many points. Too many syllables, it gets my tongue tied. Bullet points for this week. We kind of already covered this, but Behind the Ships Drake Golem, the March Squadron 42 newsletter, roadmap updates, updates and roundup, the Inside Star Citizen. Let's get going. All right. Again, low-hanging fruit first. We're going to cover kind of the softer launches, the softer news, but Squadron 42. So the March newsletter, again, y'all need to, if you haven't already, go into your settings on the RSI website and subscribe to the Squadron 42 newsletter so that you get all this in your emails and you're not taken by surprise. So here's the comm link with the transmission. There's a lot more details that came out in the email. So again, please make sure you are signed up for it. But this March newsletter actually is more of an announcement for a contest. And it's based around the Vanduul language. It's like a challenge to learn the language, use the language, and what you'll be doing is creating content around this idea. So let's just get into it. Code breakers needed. Vanduul language. Humanity's hostile relationship with the Vanduul began almost 300 years ago after the alien species unexpectedly raided a civilian outpost in the Orion system. This first contact cost countless human lives, as has every encounter since. The Vanduul home world is unknown. Their command structure is obscure. And with so little intel available to anticipate their agenda, all diplomatic efforts to improve human-Vanduul relations have failed. It seems that the only language they understand is violence, but as humans, we must continue to rise above. Enlist and help today's Vanduul become tomorrow's vanquished. Our next step toward victory is to crack their communications. So here we go. There is just keep reading. Essentially, you're getting intel, you're trying to crack the code, you do a video on you cracking the code, and that's the contest. But let's just keep going. Interception. UEE Naval Intelligence has allowed us to share formerly classified comms chatter intercepted during Vanduul encounters. Your examination of these excerpts will lead to a greater understanding of Vanduul syntax and diction, and may even yield sensitive data to aid in humanity's victory. So here we go. Here's the pronunciation guide. So we can go through all that. I probably need to study this, guys. Not for the contest, but so that you don't have to survive through my destroying of the language on podcast. So here's like a mission report, the pronunciation guide. Here's the comms chatter classified, a couple of translations, those symbols being translated. Here we go. Claim your scythe. To incentivize your efforts, the UEE Navy will provide a reclaimed Vanduul Scythe spacecraft to 3 participants who submit a video of their attempts to master the proper pronunciation and inflection of the Vanduul language. Competition rules can be found on Spectrum. There's a part of me that I should just give them one of my episodes of the podcast and just say, look, I've been trying to do this for 2 years now. 100 episodes worth of me failing at trying to pronounce your alien names, even some human words, admittedly. Okay. Let's move on. So if y'all are into socks, guys, I don't know. No judgment to anybody listening to this podcast, but I'm kind of like a low-rise kind of sock guy, like ankle socks or no-show socks. These are like full out up your calf. So if you want socks and they have Squadron 42 on the toes and they've got the language, there's like a black and red language up there at your calf, go for it. There's even like a blue UEE navy one. So if socks are your thing, cool. They are absolutely not my thing. No judgment. And here's some art. You can download some art. That is a badass wallpaper, I think, to put on anybody's computer. Now, don't put it on your work computer. I think it's a little extreme for you open up your laptop for like a presentation at work, and this is something that your coworkers first see. Yeah, you'd have some explaining to do. Here's your socks for $30. And there you go. I don't know, guys. I think it's great. I think it's a great contest. In fact, let me just continue sharing. We're going to go through the Spectrum post real quick. Great contest. Learning the language. I think it's going to be great. They clearly have an important role in Squadron 42. You all saw the Citizen Con from last year. You saw the play demo. It's going to be a massive part of the game, obviously. I would love to see how this gets incorporated in Star Citizen. I would like, now hear me out. I would like missions, like exploration missions that are solely driven by a foreign language, like an alien language. And so maybe 90% of the community wouldn't be able to do the mission. It's fine. But for those 10% that are diehard lore seekers, right, and they want to learn the 3 languages or the 4 languages for the alien species, I think we should celebrate that. Or maybe have Easter eggs around Star Citizen that are only driven by, the languages. Now, of course, you know what happens with the gaming community. You'd have that one sweaty that solves everything, puts it up on a YouTube, and now no one has to do it because somebody walked them through it on the YouTube channel. So that's what usually happens. But I do think it'd be kind of a fun use of the language inside of a MMO. So here's the Spectrum. Again, everything comes with a Spectrum post with a little bit more detail. So here's like the keep in mind of the credentials or the criteria to submit. Here's the winning conditions and the rewards. First, second, and third place, all 3 receive the Vandal Scythe with LTI. So, boom. Who's participating in it? Will you be participating in this contest? I personally will not be. I wish the best of luck to everybody who is. All right, more low-hanging fruit. The roadmap roundup. This is a very, very short one. So we have the notable changes. March 26th, 4.1. We added the heavy combat armor Antium, a rugged and stylish new armor set tailored for brave adventurers facing new dangers. We have renamed the card from Redacted Armor Set to Heavy Combat Armor Antium. The card will be updated or has been updated to Committed. I will say I asked on the EvoConti chat yesterday where you can buy these. Like I didn't know if this was going to be available at orbital stations or at a shop at one of the primary residences, but it sounds like these are from the Hathor Mining facilities, and they're located inside the large brown armor crates. So as you're going through and doing the mining missions, which again we'll get into in a couple of minutes, be on the lookout for this new Antium set. Okay, we also have Arena Commander new map Astor's Clearing, adding a Stanton settlement on Microtech available in free flight for exploration. The card has been set to Committed. Arena Commander new map Crossroads of Crime, Juvenile Valakar. Again, this is not the big raid battle worm, but it's the little teeny tiny baby versions of them. So the Juvenile Valakars are Committed. We actually saw them yesterday with the release of 4.1. We have the Drake Golem, the Atlas Geo, and then nothing was added to the progress tracker. So like I said, a very quick update for the roadmap update. The Spectrum post, I'm not going to share my screen. It literally was a copy and paste. No additional details were found in the Spectrum post. Okay. I have debated on how, which I guess I can actually take this next one and move it over. I know I'm not sharing my screen, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. But the rest of this is about 4.1, and I have spent 15 minutes this morning, again from like 5 a.m. to 5:15, figuring out how to logistically go through the announcements. Because on like Tuesday, we had Behind the Ships, a quick little video about the Drake Golem. But then we had an Inside Star Citizen that talked about 4.1. 4.1 drops, and there's 2 commercials that go back to the Drake Golem and the Atlas Geo. So I'm like, how do I set up the order of events here? So bear with me, as like we're actually going into Inside Star Citizen first. We're going to go through the release of Alpha 4.1. We're going to talk about 4.1, and then we will end the show going through each one of the ships. I think that's kind of the best method for the next couple of minutes. So Inside Star Citizen, by the way, again, 4 videos to go through. 3? No, 4. We have 4 videos to go through. You will more than likely hear a commercial at some point. So bear with me as I will mute and pause and fast forward appropriately. I'm not convinced to spend money to become a YouTube premium member. So shame on me. But here we go. Inside Star Citizen. This is a preview into 4.1. This is actually the morning of the release of 4.1. So it's kind of funny. They preview it, and then hours later we'll release it. So here we go. Enjoy.
The last 4 months have been unlike any in Star Citizen's history, with each one bringing a new patch full of dynamic content, needed bug fixes, and long-awaited quality of life improvements.
That mustache,
From
man.
December's 4.0, which finally brought our second star system to life, to picking a side in the ongoing fight for Pyro in January's 401, then building up the war chest for the continuing battle against the Frontier Fighters in February's 402 Supplier Die event. It's been one non-stop adventure in Pyro. But all of that changes when the story shifts back to the Stanton system in Alpha 4.1, with the introduction of new threats, new friends, and new opportunities for action, adventure, and acquisition.
At 4.1, we're actually going to be introducing what we've been calling internally as sort of our B story. In a nutshell, the regen technology, which to this point has basically been allowing people to die and get regen back, the technology begins to fail.
And that's being referred to as the regen crisis.
So it's throwing the Empire into a bit of chaos and confusion because this technology that everybody thought was basically going to conquer death is not as effective as promised.
Now for the player, nothing changes. You can just go about your business and it's business as usual. But for the populace, it's an issue.
So at this point, the Imperator is basically going to start lobbying the Senate to start loosening scientific restrictions on research. One company, Rayari, has put the call out to the population to try to find these sort of very rare minerals to basically bring to their outpost to help fuel their research to help resolve the crisis.
And the way you get those brand new materials is the Align and Mine sandbox activity.
Real quick, sandbox. That is a term usually used in video games for a game that doesn't have like left and right limits. It's not going to hold your hand from point A to point B. So this sandbox mission is exactly that. You're not going to open the game, open up your contracts, and see a mission for Align and Mine. Right? It's just something that you're going to have to know. So pay attention to the next couple of minutes. They'll talk about where to go, the Aberdeen and Daymar. It'll tell you like where to go first, explore. Like it's not going to hold your hand. It is a very open world. It's a combination of jump town, contested zones. It's kind of all in one. So just know that this is not a mission that you're going to open up in your contracts. So when they say sandbox, it truly is kind of that definition of sandbox.
So Align and Mine starts with these new facilities that are placed across 2 planets, Daymar and Aberdeen. These are Hathor-owned locations.
Hathor is sort of an older company. Basically, they were kind of a mining consortium. But as the years were going on, they were doing worse and worse and worse. And so the idea was that Stanton was relatively recently discovered, and the facilities that Hathor built here were basically their last gasp.
The purpose of these facilities was so Hathor could communicate and align with the orbital platform above them.
They went all in on building these facilities in the hopes that it would yield enough minables and minerals that it would keep the company alive. Sadly, they were sort of mistaken and the company folded.
But now that there's a renewed interest in the minerals that they used to mine there, people are going there and trying to get the facilities up and running again.
At each of these Hathor locations, there's an alignment dish. And the players have to go around and try to find out how to align the dish towards the satellite.
So while these mining facilities have been abandoned, they are by no means vacant.
While you're at the PAFs, you will be contending with Ninetails. Ninetails are just kind of the scavengers, the bad guys. They go everywhere, they just want loot, they want to get rich.
They're just here to basically strip and clean what's left of these defunct stations.
Maybe set up a camp or two and hold it as a sort of strategical point.
It's essential that the players search the area as much as they can. I can't stress that enough.
Once you've managed to find all 3 facilities and align them with the orbital platform, you need to collect the power banks that they've left behind on the surface.
Now with the PAFs all activated, it's time to get in your ship and head up to the orbital laser platform. Be careful because there might be some certain Ninetail lieutenants kind of roaming around.
It'll be pretty tough to get in there and to get it going.
The power banks that you would have obtained at the platform alignment facilities need to be inserted into their slots at the orbital laser platform. Players can head inside, fighting through, again, more Ninetails while they try to get to this terminal in the middle. That will charge the laser, and players should see a really cool effect in their environment to signify that this laser is ready to be fired.
So once you've armed the laser and it begins its sort of...
Guys, I can't stress you enough. If you're not watching on video, stop, pause, switch over to YouTube, switch over to video Spotify. The animations that they've created for both this process that you're listening to right now and the actual laser going down and hitting the planet is bar none. And it's happening real time. Everybody can see it. It's not a cut scene. It is a very, very well done animation. So pay attention, observe. I know this is like a video, it's a rendered video, but this is what you see and experience inside of the game. It's incredible.
Initiation sequence, you then have to go back down to the surface. Near where the impact is going to be, you'll be able to see this because it will be a crater. There will be a bunker nearby. This bunker is where you will do the final stage, which is firing the laser.
Why are you making people go back down to the surface?
Well, I mean, down on the surface is where the loot is. Like, that's where the treasure is. That's where you're gonna actually get the resources that you came to mine.
Keycard accepted.
So much better when you're down on the ground, you hit the button, you see this laser just pull, and there's all this shit going everywhere, and you're like, oh my God. It's an impactful moment. And there's that emotion
so
we
good.
want to inspire, and when we was testing it, the emotion is better captured when you're boots on the ground.
This sounds really chaotic.
Yeah, we haven't even touched on the worms yet.
It's trimmers.
There's a reason why Hathor abandoned these facilities. There's some local fauna that's not too happy when the ground gets disturbed.
So make sure you're prepared.
So we've been working on the Valakar for a while now, and we're really excited to finish off that boss fight and bring it to everybody as soon as possible. But in the process of developing it, we've also got some smaller Valakar.
Valakar are a tremendously invasive species. Basically, once they kind of get into an area, they propagate rather quickly and can become a very dangerous presence.
Fighting a juvenile is fairly similar to the adults on a much smaller scale.
Because they come up from the ground submerged, they can surprise the player in the way that they come up behind them or can attack them from areas where they don't expect.
The Valakar will also fight the other Ninetales at the location if you've managed to find a way to let them be in each other's presence.
So it's going to be you against other players, against other Ninetales, against other worms?
Yeah, real Mexican standoff. So when the lasers finish firing...
So this is going to be the main reason, in my opinion, probably the main reason why the Atlas Geo is going to be crucial in organizations. This right here. So once the hole is created, not to get ahead of the video, I'm sorry, but once the hole is created and the crater is formed, it'll create a cave. But you going in with just like your little multi-tool mining is not going to be sufficient. You probably should go in with a golem like you're seeing. Not golem, good lord, Geo. You should probably go in with a Geo like you're seeing here on the screen for what you're having to pick up. So you should pick up the Geo, not the golem. I'll tell you why the golem in a second.
It will have mined into the surface of this planet, which will reveal a cave network.
Inside this cave are 3 new mineable types. It's a fight for whoever can get the goods out of that cave as fast as possible and as safely as possible. We are in Stanton, so if you're gonna fight some other players, beware of crime stats.
Then you get to choose, do you want some interesting random loot from the collector, or do you want to just get credits?
Let's help the human race. Let's help the human race.
Yeah. Help the human race and make some bank.
While this is happening, Xant System actually has an exciting new resident. We've introduced our first Banu. His name is Wikelo.
Okay. They are sort of tied together, sort of not. So it's a good thing when you're looking at 4.1 to divide these into 2 separate missions. You get the sandbox mission with little guidance called a line to mine, or the line to mine mission, right? Everything you've just heard for the last 8 minutes and 18 seconds, right? But you have this this other mission that you can actually get into your contracts manager. It's under collectors. You go there. You can either collect for Rayari, which you heard a little bit earlier, or you can collect for Wikelo. And you can do that without ever touching a mining facility. That's my point, is that you can, if you're a solo player and you don't really want to go through the hell of everything you just heard, this is an entirely different thread of mission and things for you to do, but they do supplement each other because you're going to need materials from the mining mission in order to fulfill all the things that Wikelo's asking for. So they complement each other, but they're also 2 very separate mission paths.
Wikelo is also offering a counter mission to the minerals that Rayari is looking for. So if you don't want to sell them off to Rayari to help with the regen crisis, Wikelo is offering some sweet, tasty items in exchange for the same materials.
Here you go. Bring chip in.
Wikelo recently retired, Banu equivalent of retirement, from a fabrication facility in the Banu Protectorate. He loves people, he loves humans, so he decided to move to human space and set up sort of a fabrication shop / trading site location for players to go visit, and basically he can kind of make you some cool stuff if you bring him what he needs. One of the things with the Banu was they always try to be the least threatening thing in the room. I always equate them to sort of the golden retriever of our aliens. So they're everybody's friend until they're not.
Wikelo's Emporium, there are 3 of them in different areas of Stanton. You'll be able to find these on your star map. This is where Wikelo is set up shop. The unique thing about Wikelo is he'll never pay you any money because he's got a load of shit in his warehouse that he'd rather give you instead.
The collector offers everything from armor pieces to skins to weapons.
Really pretty, yes. Solid build, but also fun to make.
And other cool little surprises.
Even spaceships.
Even spaceships, big ones. I'm incredibly excited. It is quite a defining moment for a space game to finally get an alien. And the best thing about Wikelo is, as we keep moving and building out this universe, his presence will stay. You will keep needing to interact with him, he'll keep needing random things from you, so you better make good friends with him.
4.1, we're finally able to deliver some content that we've been working on for a while.
I think that the experience of the whole thing is really cool, and I think that it's a really, really big step forward for us on the mission design team, making content for the future, that we are able to create events that use mission logic but don't require missions.
It's fun to be able to kind of like explore a little bit and not just have everything kind of spoon-fed to you. And it also mixes a little bit of everything, right? We have the FPS and we have a little bit of ship combat up by the orbital platform, and of course even creature fighting. So it's got a nice spectrum of things that you can do.
I like the fact that we're building more of the story out of what this world is, how the universe is created, how these companies have operated in it, and giving you more fun sandbox things to do that require you to be the explorer that you want to be in a space game.
And with 4 patches in as many months, the introduction of a new ongoing persistent sandbox with a line in mind, the arrival of our persistent universe's first non-human character, a new system for acquiring rewards, brand new mining vehicles, and the beginning of a second ongoing narrative that's threatening the lives of NPCs everywhere. And no, I've seen the post, it's not Death of a Spaceman, not yet, or not soon. We're playing a really long game here. It's an exciting time for Star Citizen, and one that we're all super excited to share with you. So for Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. As always, thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll be right back here in just a few weeks with even more looks at the future of our persistent universe.
There's more. Stand by. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what April 1st will bring. For those of you again who weren't on video, they just teased a Gray Cat Rock instead of a DS. It's a TS. It's in Tango Sierra, and it's clearly a combat rock. And it said coming in April 1st, and then it said not coming April 1st. So who knows? I would say for the next 3-4 days. For the next 3 days, just don't believe anything CIG posts. I think that is a safe. I think that's a safe approach. So, what are your thoughts? That was the teaser on the 2 missions going into 4.1. But of course, 4.1 is a loaded launch. And here we are. Welcome to this point in the podcast. 4.1 is a friggin' beast. You saw the 2 different mission types. You saw the new orbital stations. They're not like mining facilities that are up in space, the Hathor space orbital stations, if you want to call them those. You saw the new planet side Hathor facilities, the laser beams, the Wikelo. The Wikelo sites, guys, it's a lot of fun to go. Like in Stanton, there is a Wikelo facility in Crusader, in Lorville or Hurston, and in Microtech. So in those 3 locations, I always choose Orison as my residence, the primary residence. And so there is, I forgot what the S word is, but it's like the Wikelo station. It's the Shula. I don't know, it starts with an S, but that one is the Crusader one. And it is up kind of around Daymar, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of on the outer perimeter of the Crusader orbit. But it's phenomenal. It's an asteroid field. right? So you fly into an asteroid field. They've built this thing on the side of a rock. There's only 4 extra large hangars. So that's going to bottleneck, adding a whole nother, like, if you have a ship full of goods and you're trying to turn those in for the collector missions, I can see people hanging out at each one of those locations just causing hell. So that's a little concerning. They are instanced, so you just have to wait until the doors open and close, and then it'll free up. So it's not like only 4 people can be at a time. There's just 4 hangars, so you could have a queue of individuals waiting for their hangars. So that's a little interesting. Don't know how I feel about that. But here you go. Here is the 4.1 landing page for last night's launch. So here's your orbital assault, the Hathor missions with the laser quest, the Curious Collector. Again, some of this we've already been through and watched. We are about to watch the commercial for it, or the trailer for it, so stand by. And then here are the offerings. So we've got the Atlas Geo. This is the official launch for that ship. And we have the Drake Interplanetary Golem. So we'll watch that commercial and go through those reactions as well. Each one already has their Q&A. So if you're looking at my screen, these top tabs, the Q&A Drake Golem, Q&A Atlas. So if you want to learn more about each ship, they already have the Q&A out for it. Ship offers. So not only did they launch like those 2 new ships, obviously, but they also brought back some favorites. Those 22 exactly. So like the Atlas Geo, the Ares Inferno, Ares Ion, the Centurion, the Corsair, the Cyclone Alpha Alpha, the Cyclone Mike Tango, the F7CM Super Hornet Mark II, the F8C Lightning, if you have the ticket, I'm assuming. Event badge required, yep. The Drake Golem, obviously. The Hammerhead, the Hurricane, the Nova, the Polaris, right? So here's your chance to also pick up the Polaris. The Redeemer, Retaliator, the Spartan, the Storm Alpha Alpha, the Ursa, the Valkyrie, and then back to the Atlas. All right, special offers. There is a new, let me go kind of right to left. So the Cutlass Black Starter Pack is $112. Listen. This is your starter pack. So if you've spent $50 or $75 or however much money you have spent, you're brand new to the game, melt it, get rid of that shit. The Cutlass Black Starter Pack is your starter pack. The Cutlass Black continues to be one of the go-to vehicles in this game. It is a very good all-around purpose. It's got a co-pilot seat, a couple of beds to log out of. It is a good starter ship. So I think out of all of your options, just trust me here. It's only 6-month insurance, I get it, but it's a starter pack. It's going to give you the Star Citizen digital download. It's going to give you that hangar, right, 1,000 UEC, but you're going to save 10% off. So originally $125, it's now $112. Get the Cutlass Black Starter Pack. Okay. That being said, you've got the Miner Starter Pack. So this is brand new, that an industrial ship has a starter pack. And it exactly is that. The Drake Golem is a starter mining ship. There's really nothing sexy about it. And I'm going to get into my thoughts and feelings about it, not because it's Drake, but because of the value it brings. But here's the Miner Starter Pack, just to see what else comes in it. It's going to have lifetime insurance, so that's super. I mean, that right there is good enough. But it's got the rockfall paint. So this is the one chance you get to get the rockfall paint. So either you can spend $50 to get it normally in the game, or if you want to spend like $15 more, so $67.50, you get LTI on it, right? You get the Star Citizen digital download, you get the Golem rockfall paint, right, in 20,000 UEC. So value-wise, this might, and then what you could do, guys, you could actually get this and then melt just the Golem and upgrade to that Cutlass Black. And that would actually give you a Cutlass Black with lifetime insurance and 20,000 UEC as opposed to just 1,000 UEC. It pays to listen to our podcast. All right, and then what I bought I bought this Downburst patch bundle. This kind of divides the community a little bit. Some of the community likes this. They like with every patch having this like bundle that comes with it of like aesthetics and cosmetics. Guys, this is no different than really any other game. I feel like a lot of games do this, right? A lot of games do. Here's a new patch. Here's a bundle of cosmetics. I remember Elder Scrolls Online doing it. World of Warcraft does it. Pretty sure Grand Theft Auto Online does it, or at least my limited time playing that game is what I've experienced. But in this, excuse me, you get this paint for the Corsair. It's like a black and gold paint. Looks really good. So it's like my second favorite color combination. Black and red is my favorite. Black and gold is my second favorite. But you also get this energy assault rifle, the Parallax energy assault rifle with downburst camo. Right? Pretty good there. The Banu Ana armor Wayo helmet. So it's got this, it almost looks like teeth from like an animal that you have strung up, and they actually emit light. So that's kind of cool. And then you have the armor WoW core. So you have the core, that's everything you see here. And then you've got the helmet on top. And I can't really zoom in. I would if I could, but I can't. But you see people with this walking around. I didn't equip it last night, but if you see this and you're like, where the hell did this come from? It's this patch bundle for $30. Okay, you have a couple Warbond specials, the Tumbril Nova, the Drake Corsair, beautiful. Now let's go up and watch our video. And again, this is the commercial for the 4.1 launch. Here we go. So basically everything we just saw in the Inside Star Citizen, but made in a more sexy aesthetic trailer. This is getting good, guys. It makes me so excited for Squadron 42. Like the way they cinematically tell a story, this is very encouraging. Like I love that preview. All right, let's get going. The release notes. If you've been paying attention to our podcast, we go through a lot of the patch notes every single time. So there's not anything new here, by the way. I know a couple episodes I was saying NPE, November Papa Echo. NPE, that's new player experience, by the way. So just for those of you who were listening and asked me later, hey, when you said like the new Crusader or Orison NPE, what does that mean? It's the new player experience. But anyways, the rest of this you've already seen. We have more videos to get through, more information, so I'm not going to go through these release notes. Just know that they're here, right? Let's keep going. Here is the Spectrum post that comes with this right here, guys, on my screen. We've compiled a useful list of relevant links to help you navigate this major update and all the new features. If you still, after this podcast, have no idea where to start, you have no idea what we've been saying, this is a foreign language to you, go here. the trailers, the information, the welcome hub for new players, new player guide, every important link that you can possibly imagine is right here in the Spectrum post, right here. And the last thing I'll say it again, it is very, very important to always go through the Spectrum posts as well as the Comlink post, because this is the one place where the limited quantity ship, the stock limited ships, right here. This is the only place that this existed. Did you know that here's your one chance to get the Consolidated Outland Pioneer and the Misk Hull C? It is a limited hull ship. It is available during IAE, right? That's in November, so that is literally your one chance. But here is another chance, right? Additionally, as part of Captains of Industry, there is the Consolidated Pioneer and the Misk Hull E and the waves associated to it. So I have a tweet, I think we're still calling them tweets. I have a tweet out converting all of these times to US Central Time, but there's 8 waves from March 28th to April 4th, 8 chances to get these vehicles. So let me know if you're going to go for it. I already have them. I'm at peace during this event. Don't need to be at the F5 war trying to refresh and make sure I'm first in line. That is behind me, and thank goodness for that. Keeping on. So we see the Captains of Industry post with the limited hull ships. Let's go to the Captains of Industry post. So here we go. Alongside a 4.1, you've got the celebration of Captains of Industry. There's some paint to come with it. Let's get into it. Captains of Industry. To mark the launch of 2 rugged new starter mining vehicles in the verse, the dependable Drake Golem and the versatile Argo Atlas Geo, the United Resource Workers have compiled essential knowledge and guides for aspiring industrialists who are ready to carve out a career in Stanton and systems beyond. This resource hub is packed with practical advice on core industrial professions from mining to cargo hauling, along with exclusive deals on the vital tools of the trades and the vehicles that power the Empire's industrial backbone. Whether you're extracting precious resources or transporting goods across the stars, this is your first step to forging a career in the heart of industry. So here's your mining and salvage guide. If you're looking to get into it and you have no idea where to start, I would highly recommend that. Hint, hint. Here's your hauling guide, which is where I live and where I spend most of my time. Excuse me. And here are your paints. So if you are into the Prospector, the Argo Mole, the Drake Golem, or the Atlas Geo, there's a blue and white paint. And so you can get the pack, which we're about to get into in just a second. Here are your 2 commercials we'll get into in just a second. Where are we? Here we go. Keystone paints. So the pack, do you really have to buy them separately? That is silly. Here's the Keystone paints, but it looks like you have to buy them individually. So the Atlas is $5, the Golem is $5, the Prospector is $9, and the Mole is $13. But there's not a pack to get all 4. That's kind of silly. And then, of course, the industrial ships that come with it. And here's your stock limited offers, right, that we were just talking about, and the War Bond Argo Mole. A lot of people solo the Argo Mole. It is possible. It's kind of difficult. You have to position it just right to be able to switch between the seats. But this is your small team, like a squad, maybe. Even a squad's too many. Like 9 people, that's too many. But maybe a team of 4 to man the Argo Mole. All right, let's get into behind the ships. So guys, we're still on behind the ships. This is like a 5-minute video on the Drake Golem, and then we'll get into my reactions to the Drake Golem, the offerings, the Atlas Geo, my reactions, their offerings, and we will call this a podcast. So here we go.
The Golem's basically a new starter ship from Drake for people looking to get into mining.
It's very bare bones. They seen the Prospector and was like, we can do that, maybe. And then went to the scrapyard and grabbed a bunch of stuff and stuck it together.
This is where I know that the 16 SU containers are bespoke. They're very unique to this ship. So to answer that question from the beginning of the podcast, you'll see where it snaps in and out of the ship. It is a very deliberate size and shape.
Star Miner is, instead of having all these fancy heads that do fancy things and you skip a couple of steps, it's learning how to do mining, learning how the different heads and different consumables help.
I will say I like the placement of the mining head. So rather it being on your chin, like underneath your view and kind of blocking your visibility, it's coming over like a horn, like a rhinoceros horn. That's still your nose. I don't know. It's coming over your head. So it's coming from the top and it's not really obstructing your view. So I will say the view on it, I actually like that better than I do like the mole or the prospector. But I'll get into the rest of it here in a second.
I believe the best part is it's compact, can mining, and also price, performance balance ship.
Visually, it looks very industrial. There's lots of exposed parts. You can kind of see that they want to show you how this works.
The exterior parts, which Alex and Michael worked heavily on it, has lots of Drake spatial DNA details.
It almost feels like it's missing cladding where you would expect there to be covering up these fragile, very exposed pieces.
That's Drake.
It's got a couple really interesting tanks on the back that sort of store all of the minerals that you're hoovering up.
That. Okay, now watch. When you detach it, and I know this is the case for most other compartments, right? It'll show you like the preview of where that case can go. However, look at the attachments. So how it's attached on the left and right, and the tube that feeds up into the top of the golem, those are what I'm talking about. Where it wouldn't work with the shape and the size of another SU box.
You could take them off and then that sort of reveals the tucked away components on the roof and the sides. They're real cool looking. I would get up there and just check out the mining arm. Batu did a fantastic job.
When you take the pods off and you look up where the mining head sits, and you can see all of the piping and where the mining head just rests, it all looks really cool.
I believe that personally my favorite part of the ship, because it's nothing like the other mining arms in the old game.
It's a completely brand new mining head from Drake, so it'll be unlike anything that you can see on any other ships.
The mining is a little bit more unstable, because I would say that Drake decided to get the cheapest laser that they could find to get this to work, so it's a little unstable, so it kind of breaks some of the ore, so you don't get as much as you would with some of the others.
Probably not as versatile as something that you get from the Prospector.
You can't take its heads off, but you can add the gadgets to it to make it work in different ways. But it will definitely get the majority of the rocks that you can mine as a single player in the game.
That should feel like a solid, compact ship. They can take it and start mining immediately.
We think this is a good ship for mining to start off with. If for people who don't want to invest in a prospector, you can grab it sooner, start learning how to do it, and then you can maybe go to a prospector afterwards.
I love Drake. I love that it's unapologetically lazy.
Yes.
If you're looking for a cool Drake ship, which can mining and also has a compact, you should definitely go for it.
See, I'm biased, I like all of it, so I don't have a specific spot that I'm like, hey, look at this bit. He's just a good little guy.
Beautiful. All right, here's my reactions. Look, the ship's great. I know I've kind of been dogging on it up to this point. The ship's great. It's exactly what it is marketed to be. It is a starter mining ship. You're going to pay $50 for it, right? It's not an expensive ship. The Prospector is $150, right? 3 times this price. You could do a lot more with it, but here's my case, or here's my stance on this. It's a great ship. It's a good starter ship. If you are playing Star Citizen, if you're interested in Star Citizen, and you already know industry is going to be your thing, not even like combat, it's going to be industry, then this is your starter ship. This is your starter pack. This is it. There's no interior, and that is what is stopping me from being like gung-ho and really pushing the sell of this ship. And it's not just that there's no interior, there's no bed to log. So my hang up is that if I'm in industry, like salvaging, that's like one of my things. Cargo hauling, of course, that is my main thing. I like being out in space, being wherever I need to be, and being able to bed log. Like being able to bed log is huge for me. And so whether I bed log because I don't like logging in a high velocity location like a primary residence, or I don't like to be inside of an orbital station for whatever reason, it's nice to bed log. It's nice to like wake up, go to the pilot seat, and immediately start with the rest of my missions. You can't do that with the Golem. And that is, again, my one hang up. Last night in Orgnite, we had a friend who said, well, this is actually a ship that goes inside of a larger one, right? Use it in the Ironclad. Okay, now you're starting to get away from it being a starter ship, though. Like, it's marketed in its purpose is a starting ship. You can't change the heads. They just said you can change the gadgets, but you can't change the heads. So if that's the case, you're missing out. If you have the money and the assets to have a multi-crew ship like an Ironclad, then you're probably beyond the need of a starter mining ship. That's my 2 cents. It looks great. It's going to be exactly what it's used, like what its purpose is. Like I recommend it as a starter, but beyond that, it is worth investing in the Prospector. The Prospector holds the exact same amount. So I think it's 16 SCU, or maybe it's 32. I think it's two boxes on the Golem. It holds the same amount, but you can change out the heads. You can extract a different ore. It has a bed that you can bed log. Like all these things are super important in mining to consider. So I don't know. I don't have anything against it outside of that. It's just the interior and the bed. The rest of it, it's absolutely a Drake. It looks, feels, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a Drake. So there's a commercial we'll watch for it, but let's just go to the offerings first. Boopity boop. Good images. Yep, looks pretty cool. All right, here are there's a lot of paints available. Here, the Rockfall. This is the one that's available just in the starter pack. So that's like a camo, kind of a camo color. It's like a forest green. But the let's see here. Which one is it? Is the Flashpoint? Flashpoint is your concierge paint. So it's your red and white. Almost looks like a medical variant, which it's not, but the red and white and black is the concierge. All right, let's go through the available. Here's the ship offers. The Golem, the concierge Golem plus Flashpoint paint. That's $55. All of the other ones are $55. The War Bond is $55. The standalone ship is $60. So here's your starter pack, $67. So again, for only $7 additional dollars, you might as well go ahead and get the starter pack, right? Okay, so the paints. There's a lot. So here's your 4 paint pack. It's the Flashpoint, the Coal Heart, the Fault Line, and the Keystone, right? So that's your 4 pack with Concierge. If you're not a Concierge member, there's a 3 pack just without the Flashpoint. So Keystone, Fault Line, and Coal Heart. All right. I think that's basically it. Again, your only chance to get the Rockfall is with the starter. So those are your offerings. That is it. Let's go watch the commercial, and then we'll get into Atlas Geo and call it a podcast. Here we go. All right, before this plays, I'm already pausing it. I want y'all to think Chevrolet, like the old school Like a Rock commercials. Think Chevrolet, and tell me that this is not a Chevrolet commercial. Here we go. I also like how they tie it into the missions.
They say these worlds weren't built for us. So, they'll just watch you tear them down. And smile as we mine their damned rubble. We start strong and hold fast. Work for grit, not glory. So when the ground does shake, we live steady. Drake's a family, old as dirt. First to take you in and will never leave you behind. They weren't wrong, by the way. These worlds aren't built for us. So we'll build our own. Drake Golem. For the workers.
Well done. I love that commercial. But again, I feel like that is the epitome of the Chevrolet Like a Rock commercials. Q&A. Here we go. I do want to look real quick. I just wanted to make sure that the compartments are bespoke. Yeah, the Golem storage pods are bespoke and are not interchangeable with those from the Prospector or Mole. Okay, but I think that last piece doesn't necessarily matter to my point. The Golem storage pods are bespoke. They are unique to the whole. Okay, so there's your Drake Golem. Guys, we've already talked about the Atlas Geo through nausea. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we had kind of the behind the ships for the Atlas Geo. We already did all of that. So here's the Atlas Geo. It's worth the jetpack alone. Like, go have fun with it. It's $40, but go have fun with it. I had a blast for like a couple of minutes just floating around my hangar. It's a lot of fun. I think it's better than the Gray Cat Rock, especially for the mining mission and having to go inside of the caves to do mining. But this is worth the $40 in my opinion. I just think, and I agree, that the cargo variant also needs jetpacks. I'm just saying. It should. So let's just look through, and I think this does have a commercial. But anyways, let's look at the standalone offerings. So the Thunderhead paint, I don't know how I feel about the Thunderhead paint. It's the concierge paint. It looks like tiger stripes, like gray and dark gray. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's got red highlights, so it's kind of that black and red, color. But I don't know, I'm thrown off by the light gray. But here are your other offerings. That's $40, by the way. Warbond $40, standalone is $45. So those are your price points. There's your packs. You can get 2 of them. The concierge, 2 of them is $75. The regular of the 2 of them is $75. And then the standalone is $80. So those are your packs of both Atlases, which, by the way, you can purchase one or purchase this, melt the base or melt whichever one you want and upgrade that to whatever ship you want. And so it transfers over the lifetime insurance. You could see it as an LTI token. But just know if you want to start over, you have to melt the entire pack. So both, and then buy back. So that's the only downside of doing it with a pack of 2. Here's your paint pack. There's 8 freaking paints. So you can see them all here. This pack with concierge is $25.90. The pack without concierge is a 6 paint pack, and that is $20.25. And there's your Keystone Atlas, and each individual one separately. So there you go. Let me find this commercial. I don't know. I think I skimmed over it. Where are you, Atlas? I don't guess this one does. There's no way. I thought this had a commercial. I think it does. Hold on. Stand by. YouTube. Star Citizen videos. Did this not have Atlas Geo? Nah, it just has the behind the ships. Guys, I'm sorry. There is no commercial for the Atlas Geo. Just the behind the ships that we did last week. Whoops. Okay, so there's your offerings, the Q&A as well. I didn't find anything like completely crazy to announce out of this. I do like the Geo backpack, not to rehash from a couple episodes ago. But yeah, we're going to go and wrap up the pod. Nope, we're going to do a poll. Real quick, I asked yesterday, in 4.0, there's going to be a heavy mining focus. Which mining ships are you going with? Here are your votes. Just under 1,000 views, 186 votes. A lot of you, 36%, said Drake Golem. We have 29.6% that said Prospector. 24.2% said Mole, which makes total sense. The newness of the Golem, the multi-crew requirement for the Mole, and then, of course, the Grey Cat Rock. At 10.2%. A lot of people said Geo, but guys, I can only have 4. I can only have 4 options in a tweet. So there you go. We do have a giveaway. It is a pack. It is a Drake Geo. Good Lord, I did it again. The Drake Golem pack. I have to build it out. I have to create the assets. I have to publish it, but that'll go live later today. You'll have an entire week of preparing and answering and becoming engaged with it. And then on the 100th episode, we will announce the winner of the Drake Golem giveaway. So stand by for that. 99 episodes, we did it. We are done with double digits, guys. The next episode will be the 100th. 2 weeks from now with Starjump Grim, the Astropub, Space Tomato, and Conf. If you want to find more information out about Beyond the Verse, you can go to www.beyondtheversehq.com. To join our in-game organization, it's www.soulprovision.com, and that's SOL, soulprovision.com. You can email us at contact@beyondtheversehq.com, and we will read your emails, and you can also respond to the Spotify poll and comments there in Spotify. We'll read those as well. Guys, I hope this finds you well. Safe travels as you traverse Beyond the Verse. Take care, everybody.